We have breaking news. ABC has just announced here that they will be preempting the very well-known show Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely. That's confirmed by ABC, and it comes at a very tense time with many of the issues we've been covering tonight. There was a backlash on the right because Jimmy Kimmel, after the Charlie Kirk shooting, made the statement that he viewed, quote, new lows with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and with everything they can to score political points from it, end quote. I've just read part of what Jimmy Kimmel had said.
Liberals are experiencing the cancel culture they created. You all wrote the rules. We're just following them. Now cancel the view next. So to you guys wondering, what did Jimmy Kimmel get canceled for? Here's what he said.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
The cancel culture is canceling themselves. So guys, I read the comments under this video. So they're removing him for exercising the First Amendment. Interesting. Lauren B says, crazy. What happened to freedom of speech? Okay, now let me elaborate. Let me explain this slowly for the people on the left. Digging up decades of old tweets of bad jokes or hacking political donation lists to ruin someone's life. That's cancel culture. But people getting fired today because they are currently, openly cheering a murder. That's not cancel culture. That's called accountability. But if you want to put the label of cancel culture on it, then fine. Have it your way. Funny, isn't it? The left invents cancel culture, weaponize it for years. And now that it's being used against them, they're suddenly clutching pearls about fairness. Nope, stop it. You don't get to rewrite the rules now. You built this monster, and now you get to live with it.
Do a quick check-in after yesterday and all of the drama. I want to reiterate that it is not wrong or unethical or unkind to laugh at the misfortunes of terrible people. That Charlie Kirk incited violence. That's what he did. And then that came back to haunt him. That was his decision. So it's got nothing to do with the people who are laughing and joking about him becoming a human water fountain. If you want some perspective, I would strongly recommend this book. If you haven't already read it, it's not even that long, but it's really insightful and helpful to understand why it's so important for us to be able to laugh in the face of terrible things. I think we're all beginning to understand that Fuhrer Netanyahu was never going to stop at Palestine, that none of this was our fault because nobody could have predicted what he was doing. He was playing a game of chess and none of us knew that he was playing that game of chess. It's not our fault. And some people are culpable and some people were pawns in that whole game. We were the pawns. We didn't know what the big picture was. Take some diversions, get away from things, art, literature, movies, sports, architecture, travel, all of those things. If you can get them, take them because we need that right now. This is how we survive.
Hook. When people put a wig and glasses on nonsense and call it expertise, that's how the circus turns into orthodoxy. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Are modern men more delusional, or is it the ladies? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what we expose next. All right, listen to this. They literally say someone can walk up, grab me, Call me Sally, and because that person works at a mental health org, suddenly the world is supposed to believe they're the authority. Pause. Think about that logic for a second. If your resume is a badge, does bad behavior become gospel? Of course not. This is the modern problem. Credentials are being weaponized to shut down conversation. You slap someone in public, label them crazy, and the narrative flips. The accuser becomes the expert. The victim becomes the villain. Sounds insane because it is. That's the kind of upside-down thinking that makes 2 + 2 into potatoes. Literal nonsense, dressed up as truth, and the satire they use. Put glasses and a wig on a blobfish, and it becomes an angry left-wing activist. It's jokey, but it lands, because sometimes performance replaces substance. Appearance starts to count more than argument. Finally, the dangerous line. If you think people deserve to be shot for their opinions, don't cry when you lose your job for yours. Harsh wording, but the idea underneath it is a warning about hypocrisy. If you publicly endorse silencing others, even in rhetoric, don't act surprised when society turns punitive toward your views. The lesson: principles cut both ways. You can't cheer censorship for the group you dislike and then plead for mercy when the same forces turn on you. This clip shows a larger trend: authority theater, double standards, and moral grandstanding, all dressed up as righteousness. Call it out or get swallowed by it.
Shocked that the left is mad that we are playing by their game. They created cancel culture and we are now playing by their rules and they can't stand it. In reality, it's just consequence culture. They're finally learning consequences to their actions. We're holding them accountable because complacency is what led us to the last week. What we saw to that poor girl on the bus, what we saw happen to Charlie Kirk, and so many other unfortunate situations. So they are seeing the consequences of their actions.
Absolutely. Hannah, you've got the War Secretary, Pete Hegseth,
Screenshot this and send it to your boss and you're gonna get fired. Get ready to get fired. Joke's on you. I am the boss. I am she. Owning your business doesn't make you safe. I don't care. You think I give a about some chronically online goof and what they have to say about my business? I have a hard time believing any of my clients would drop me over an Oscar Wilde quote. I'm still gonna try to get you fired anyway. Go cry about it.
Tell me you don't have a business without telling me you don't have a business. That's exactly what's happening here. See? When someone jumps online acting like they're a boss, but then they start speaking in ways that prove they've never actually managed a client, a payroll, or even a refund, you already know the truth. They've confused having opinions with having operations. Running a real business isn't just slapping a title in your bio. It means living and breathing customer sentiment. It means waking up to emails you don't want to answer, solving problems you didn't create, and making sure the people paying you walk away satisfied. If you don't understand that, then you don't understand business, period. And here's the deeper issue. A lot of people today love the aesthetic of entrepreneurship, the laptop lifestyle, the soft life fantasy, but they skip the part where accountability comes first. So they talk loud, they flex, they critique, while the people actually grinding quietly are building empires. That's why lines like this expose the gap between image and reality. Because if you knew how business worked, you'd never dismiss the importance of clients. You'd know sentiment is survival, and ignoring that truth, that's how you tell on yourself without saying a word.
I keep on seeing like posts about this Charlie dude, whatever, Kirk dude, whatever, regardless. And let me just say this, I'm surprised that y'all didn't get rid of him sooner. And I'm surprised that you guys aren't getting rid of more people. Like, don't stop with him. Don't let him be the end dog. Get rid of them all. And the ones that are above him. Your mayor, your city councilman, what is it, Georgia Power, the people that keep on raising our shit, the CEO, get rid of them. Yeah. Like, what? It was so crazy. I watched like a 60 minute, whatever. Y'all know what I mean. 1 minute edit of like the things he said, and they're like so atrocious that like His wife deserves to go too. Y'all keep on talking about his wife and kids. They need to go too because they're carrying on that mentality and that lineage. Like, get rid of the whole family. I'm so sorry. Why did you guys stop with him? Why did you stop with him? Go get his grandma. Because who raised you? Like, your mom ought to be ashamed for breathing scum like you. Get rid of the whole family. Like, y'all too scary. Y'all too scary for revolution. Y'all too scary for progress. Like, y'all want results without putting in the work. You won't have to take out trash to get a clean house. Like, it is what it is. If the trash can is stinking up the house, you gotta take out the garbage. Take the garbage out, y'all. Take the garbage out. All right. Not me. I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
Listen to this and feel the temperature rise. She literally says, delete a 3-year-old girl and a 1-year-old boy, and then someone crowdsources fame out of it. That is not debate. That's dehumanization turned up to 11. Pause. That line crosses a line because it treats human beings, literal children, as disposable ideas instead of people. When you start talking about deleting humans or calling an entire political tribe traitors and the enemy, you're not arguing, you're painting targets. History and research show that dehumanizing language makes violence more likely, and it makes ordinary listeners far more prone to anger and action. Now watch the rhetorical moves. Escalate, simplify, and rally. First, you pick a villain, modern Democrat, the left. Then you reduce complex policy and culture into a traitor narrative. And finally, you call time on polite discourse. That's a classic playbook for polarizing an audience. It's effective for clicks and clicks alone, but it's dangerous in real life. Scholars who study political speech and polarization warn that this kind of enemy framing pushes people into an us-them mindset and fuels resentment that can cascade into violence. HFG +1. Let's be blunt about consequences. When influencers or pundits normalize language that treats opponents as enemies to be expelled instead of citizens to be debated, you get two things. One, people who think brutality is acceptable rhetoric. And two, the erosion of any norms that protect ordinary civic life. The same rhetoric that gets you cheers on X or TikTok can get someone killed in the real world. We've seen polling and case studies pointing to those links in recent years. Reuters +1. Here's the moral and the tactic for content creators. Calling for people to be deleted or insisting polite discourse is over isn't courage, it's performative escalation. It trades nuance for outrage, and it weaponizes emotion to grow reach. That's not bravery. It's theater with collateral damage. If you want to change minds, you don't demolish the humanity of your opponent. You challenge ideas, show evidence, and invite people to think. If your goal is clicks, fine, but don't act shocked when the outrage you stoke comes back at you or spills into harm. Closing beat, high-volume dehumanization equals high risk. When voices on the internet start naming enemies and celebrating the end of polite talk, we're not just watching a culture war clip, we're watching a recipe that has again and again produced real-world harm. Call out the rhetoric, label the threat, demand responsibility. That's how you push back without becoming the very thing you claim to fight.
Charlie Kirk got shot and he's dead! Finally, somebody with a gun, which is almost everybody in the States, grew a pair and fucking went and shot somebody on the right side. Thank you. Can we keep this up, please?
Fuck you. That's not very Christian.
So a guy just got murdered, and you're gonna stand out here and protest a vigil for him?
It's not a protest. I'm informing Catholics on his...
Doesn't matter. Somebody just got murdered. Do you not understand time and place? That logic just escapes you? You've got nothing better to do than come out here and do something like that. You deserve the spit on the ground you just got. Fuck you.
Now,
here's something I've noticed after spending hours combing through these clips. The loudest celebration's over. Charlie Kirk's supposed downfall aren't coming from anonymous trolls in basements. They're coming from three very specific groups: people in healthcare, teachers and professors, and government employees. Think about that for a second. The very people entrusted to protect your health, shape your children's mind, and manage your communities are cheering on someone's death. Now pause. Why does that matter? Because it exposes the hypocrisy. These professions brand themselves as guardians of life, of learning, of service. Yet when their politics get triggered, compassion goes out the window, replaced with a mob mentality. Imagine walking into a hospital or sending your kid to class and realizing the same people preaching empathy online are laughing at the idea of someone dying just because they disagree. That's not just a personal bias, that's an institutional problem. When the culture inside education, healthcare, and government leans so far into partisanship that celebrating death becomes normalized, trust collapses. Parents stop trusting schools. Patients stop trusting doctors. Citizens stop trusting government workers. And once trust is gone, the system itself starts to crumble. This isn't about Charlie Kirk alone. This is about what happens when politics consumes entire professions. When people in positions of influence forget their duty and let ideology erase basic human decency. That's not a side issue. That's a huge red flag for society.
Middle school teacher not only made this post talking about Charlie Kirk, but on January 13th, 2025, she was negligent when she was driving, took a turn when she wasn't supposed to, hit and killed my friend's husband, Harley. Mariah Roller hit and killed Harley Stone on his son's birthday, and 8 months later is celebrating the death of another man.
But wait, there's more.
Following on social media, but the violent aspect, you should be allowed to say whatever you want without violence being inflicted upon you. Does that make sense? And so when we talk about things like industrialization, right, as much as it was less controversial, right, he, like I said, was an absolute terrible person, the things that he has said. Violence is not violence isn't the answer, kids, is what it comes down to.
She literally says violence is not the answer. And yet, in the same breath, her energy tells you otherwise. And here's the problem. This lady is around children. She's shaping young minds. Think about the double standard. If an adult can't hold a consistent stance on something as basic as violence, what do you think she's passing on to the next generation? Confusion, mixed signals, and eventually, kids who grow up believing words don't have to match actions. And then comes the label game, calling Charlie Kirk a fascist. Let's slow down. You know what actual fascism looks like. It's not just someone holding an opinion you don't like. Fascism is silencing dissent, punishing thought crimes, and yes, even celebrating when people who think differently are harmed. That is the textbook definition of authoritarian control. So if you're clapping for people being silenced or even fantasizing about their removal, congratulations, you've just become the very thing you claim to fight. This is the core contradiction of the modern left, preaching tolerance while practicing exclusion, advocating peace while hinting at violence, teaching diversity of thought while punishing any opinion outside their bubble. That's not progress. That's hypocrisy, dressed up as morality. And here's the truth bomb. Kids see this. They may not understand the politics, but they notice the inconsistency. When authority figures preach one thing and model another, young people learn hypocrisy is normal. And that's how the cycle keeps spinning until someone calls it out.
Hey loves, I want to expose a rather famous choreographer who is celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. I'm part of the dance world in Utah, and this man must be exposed. He is famous for being on Dancing with the Stars and comes to Utah as a guest choreographer and works with children. His name is Marquette. Well, hello there, Marquette. You are sick in the head. You deserve to be exposed. And you will be. So I'm going to explain what he said. I'm going to show the screenshots with the truth. He posted these images of Charlie Kirk as an alumni of the university where Charlie was murdered, saying, "Go Wolverines," and "Proud alumni." When he was asked if he's celebrating Charlie's death, he replied, "OMG, I am." Smiley face heart. My dance friend Ben sent an email to Marquette calling him out on this monstrosity, and this was Marquette's response. "I said what I meant and meant what I said. Kindly get off my dick." Screenshot this, everybody, and let Dancing with the Stars know that they need to cut ties with this monster and demand an apology. You guys know what to do. Share this and get to work. I'm from Utah. Charlie Kirk's death hit so close to home. So yes, I want to expose those sick people who are celebrating his death.
What? I have the best news ever.
Donald Trump died.
Second best news.
The vice president died.
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died.
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged.
Pro-gun advocate Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck at his own debate rally. I try to avoid American politics if possible, but I've opened X to a bunch of little is crying and whinging about how political violence is never the answer. These people are gunning for politics that is inherently violent to its people. These people are gunning for politics that are inherently violent to a population. To marginalised people, to people who need access to healthcare. This is the same across the West. This isn't just the US. This is England too. I'm sick of this idea that you can't meet violence with violence. If somebody was smacking you in the face in the corner of a room over and over, you're going to hit them back. You have to. You're not getting out of that unless you do. These people do not care if you live or die. They don't. As long as you can work for them and make them money, and once you're useless, they don't care. They want you to die. Why is anyone condemning that? Kill them all. Kill them all.
This left.
Listen to this one closely. It's a perfect case of escalation, dressed up as forensic detail. He names a left-wing TikToker, says she's got 200,000 followers, and accuses her of promoting violence. Then he doubles down. I did my research and fact-checked this through ChatGPT. Pause. That line is doing a lot of heavy lifting. It's meant to sound official, like a legal memo sketched in a comments section. But here's the catch. Dropping laws and statute names in Iran doesn't automatically turn a clip into a courthouse. It turns it into theater. So what's going on rhetorically? First, name plus number equals credibility. Mention a follower count and people assume you've done the homework. Next, invoke law. Throw in Online Safety Act, Communications Act, terror legislation, incitement. Suddenly, you've moved from moral outrage into criminal accusation territory. That hits hard emotionally. Even if nothing has been proven, the impression sticks. Now the real issue. The speaker is blurring to things. Accusation and evidence. Saying I fact-checked with ChatGPT probably meant ChatGPT is not the same as producing legal findings, police reports, or court records. AI can summarize content, sure, but it's not a substitute for legal due process or verified documentation. Calling for criminal consequences on the basis of an unverified clip is dangerous, and it's exactly the kind of thing that amplifies mob logic. Finally, think about motive and audience. Why rattle off a list of laws in a viral video? Because legal language sounds authoritative to people scrolling at 2x speed. It makes the outrage feel righteous and final. But there's a moral problem when social media sentences people before any authority does. If you want accountability, show receipts. If you want change, push platforms or lawmakers with evidence. If you want clicks, accuse loudly and move on. Big difference. Closing beat. Accusing someone of incitement is serious. Naming statutes in a TikTok clip is performative unless you can show the proof. Don't confuse theatrical legalism with actual justice. And don't let digital outrage replace due process.
Band? I want to say Green Day.
Neck Deep. His second favorite band? Nickelback.
Those are the two places the guy was going to hit.
True. Nickelback.
Neck or back.
He was really neck and neck for who I hated more, him or Trump.
Right now he's butt naked on Mortician's.
Jesus.
He's probably trying to tell them not do abortion.
So he'll find her. He'll come back to life to be like, make sure you don't abort anything.
Charlie.
Rest in peace, Charlie.
Charlie, you stay in there.
No. Get the rocks. Yeah. Abdul.
Yeah. Get the rocks.
Get the rocks.
I think it's probably one of
Yo, that's crazy. See, that's why you don't share your opinions in a giant crowd like that. That's why you shut your mouth. That's why you just don't speak. That's why you don't speak unless you're right. That's why right is right and wrong is wrong. And that's funny. But I didn't like what he said, and I didn't like his opinions, and I don't really give a shit that he's dead. Okay, that was funny. Ha ha ha, very funny. All right, Charlie Kirk this, Charlie Kirk that.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at right here is the end product of someone who has probably never been told the word no in her entire life. And you can see it plain as day. The confidence without correction, the certainty without accountability. That's what happens when nobody checks you. But then wait a second, is that a cross in the background? Hold on. So you're preaching chaos, doubling down on delusion, and yet displaying a symbol that represents humility, sacrifice, and truth. That's where the confusion hits, because the image doesn't match the message. This is a bigger trend today. People wearing symbols of morality while living lifestyles that contradict everything those symbols stand for. It's like hanging a diploma on the wall, but refusing to study. The appearance is there, but the substance is missing. And here's the punchline. When someone has never been corrected, they start to believe every thought they have is gospel truth. Add in a religious symbol for credibility, and you've got a recipe for mixed signals. Preaching one thing, modeling another, and expecting no one to notice. But people do notice. We're noticing, right? Moral of the story, symbols without substance are empty. And being told you're wrong once in a while is not oppression, it's growth. Without it, you don't get truth. You just get louder delusion.
What about his wife and kids? First of all, they probably hated him. And if they didn't, they're better off without a man like that in their lives. Like, please be serious for 2 seconds.
Are these people slow? Like, honest question, because they get on the internet and they literally celebrate and make jokes about a man that was assassinated while having all of their business information right in their bios. Well, everybody, let me introduce you to Angelique. And let me take you to her work page, where she also has a link tree. And just so funny that you can leave reviews for her too, guys. Then you can go to the website and, click this little down right here, and then you can say contact. It's a good spot. Her Instagram, her business Instagram, which just so happens to be in my city. I think I need to go see an esthetician probably sometime this week. Nah, I'll just let the internet do what they do best.
Mike?
So here's the slippery logic. If Charlie Kirk deserved to be killed for his opinions, what does that make everyone who thinks differently? Seriously, what's the moral math there? If we start assigning death sentences based on disagreement, we don't have debate anymore. We have vendettas. Listen, this isn't about who's right or wrong on policy. It's about whether we want a society where disagreement equals destruction. Because once you normalize punishment for unpopular opinions, that rule can flip on anyone. Tomorrow it's person A. The next week it's someone you actually like. Do you really want a world run by mob verdicts? Then he calls in my sister from another mister to preach to the gospel. And that's the theatrical part. It's less a sermon, more a public ritual. We gather, we chant, we hand out moral absolution like party favors. But preaching without nuance becomes proselytizing for tribalism. It doesn't change minds. It fortifies echo chambers. So what's the take? 2 things. 1, moral consistency matters. If you condemn violence, you condemn it for everyone, even the people you despise. 2, outrage as ritual is dangerous. It feels righteous, but it trains us to celebrate the downfall of real people. That's corrosive. Final beat. Call out the hypocrisy, not just the target. Demand standards that apply to everyone, because justice, that's selective, is just vengeance in disguise.
Dare you complain about losing your job for your freedom of speech when Charlie Kirk just lost his life for using his freedom of speech? Enough with the semantics, enough with the dramatics. The people who were terminated from their positions obviously put unspeakable things on the internet, and they were held accountable. We have no choice as American citizens but to become united as one. This is no more red versus blue, left versus right. Let me say it again. This is no more red versus blue, left versus right. We become united or we lose this country. I have vowed to do everything in my power to take action. There's no more talking. It's only action. I will be starting a podcast. I will be continuing the digital footprint archives over on the Book of the Face, and I will be keeping myself loud. Say it with me in the comments. Hashtag we are Charlie Kirk.
Perfect.
You support his shooter?
Yep, sure do. It's freedom.
You support Charlie Kirk's shooter?
Sure do. He did us all a favor.
Would you shoot somebody like Charlie Kirk?
I would have killed him myself.
You would have killed him yourself? Okay. Do you have a job here in Seattle?
Nope. I take off for
A few moments later.
Oh, so you Trump supporters want to call my mom and threaten to kill my mom? Oh, yeah. That's why I called the police on you. And I'm reporting you for doxing and harassment. You're going to prison, buddy. That's a federal charge. You're really going to call my mom and threaten her on the phone? Yep. Okay, I didn't want to bring the police in this because I hate the police, but now I'm going to. I have all the receipts. You are registration phone calls. You called my mom and said you're going to kill her? Okay, wait till I get home. I dare you, double dog dare you, to show up to my house. I will kill you myself. Don't ever threaten my mom out like that. You Trump supporters. You guys are pussies. You guys are going to dox my mom? Oh, you got me now. I'm pissed. Oh, you thought I was being nice now. I'm about to fly around and guys up. Oh.
Here we go again, the contradiction on full display. I hate the police, but I'm going to call them because I'm big mad. Classic. It's the same toddler logic we see over and over. Tear down the very institution you rely on, then run back to it the moment life gets uncomfortable. That's the irony of this new outrage culture. People bite the hand that feeds them until they need protection, structure, or accountability. Suddenly, the enemy becomes the hotline. And let's be honest, it exposes the mindset. It's not about principle. It's about convenience. Principles stand even when it's uncomfortable. Convenience collapses the moment you need help. And then we get the cherry on top. He was making his bag on TikTok. That was his livelihood. But the internet turned, the bag dried up, and now he's unemployed. That's the harsh reality of living off clout instead of competence. One wrong move, one viral contradiction, and the same audience that hyped you will end you. Notice the pattern too. It's always the loudest voices, the ones with the weakest foundations, shouting into a camera about institutions they despise while depending on those same institutions to survive. That's not rebellion. That's hypocrisy, dressed up as activism. Moral of the story: if you build your life on outrage, don't be surprised when the internet cashes you out. Because clout may pay today, but accountability always collects tomorrow.
He's dead, y'all. Thank God. One down, couple more to go. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Bye, Charlie Kirk, bitch. Bye. Piss me the fuck off. Bye. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Bye. Got shot. Not my problem. Bye, bye, bye. Call me hateful. I don't care. He deserved it. Bless. I feel blessed today, guys. Blessed.
I want to dedicate this next one to an absolute piece of shit of a human being. The pronoun